Good morning, y'all. Happy Mindset Monday. The topic of the day today is gratitude. It's important to remember to be grateful for the things we have currently instead of only coveting the things we wish we had. There's really so many things to be grateful for on a daily basis that we often just overlook because we're always thinking about bigger and better. For example, when is the last time you acknowledged how amazing it is that you constantly have access to food and shelter? Or another example, you're watching this video on your cell phone. When is the last time that you expressed gratitude for having a cell phone? Having a cell phone is not a necessity, it's a privilege. There's people out here who don't have access to cell phones. Now, disclaimer, I'm American, so I can only speak on what it's like to be American. So if you're not American and you're watching this, just bear with me. We often take things like food, shelter, clean water, cell phones for granted because we feel like it's a birthright. But the truth is we could lose access to any of these things at any given moment, especially with the current state of the economy. If you live in any major city, I'm sure you see homeless people all the time. When is the last time you stopped to wonder what their story is? You'd actually be really surprised to learn the different stories of homeless people. Like, it's not a one size fits all type situation. You really be surprised at how many people just lose everything and they have absolutely no way to get it back. Like, the situation is completely out of their control. They've exhausted all of their resources and now they're just living on the streets with no help, no way to change their situation. A couple months ago, I watched a documentary on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the video or where I saw it, but I'm gonna try to find it and put it in the description of this video. But anyway, this video went around detailing the different stories of homeless people, and you'd be surprised how a small situation spiraled and turned into a huge situation, and people lost everything. And there's actually a really difficult process in order to get your documentation back if you don't have access to it. So there's a lot of people out here who lost access to their documentation, their birth certificate, social security card, whatever, and they have no way of getting to it. So it's like they didn't ever exist. And now they're living on the streets because they don't have any way to get access to this information. You think that your birth certificate and your social security card are two things that you're guaranteed to have in this life. But if you lose access to them and you don't have like ID or something to prove who you are, it's really hard to get copies of it. So it's like you were never born or something. Like, I'm really gonna try to find this documentary and put it in the description. And if you're watching this video, I would highly suggest that you look at it because it's kind of scary how people end up in these situations and they really can't do anything about it. And it can happen to anybody. Don't think it couldn't happen to you, because it could happen to any one of us and we wouldn't have any control over it. I think it's easy to see people living on the streets and assume that they were just irresponsible or they did drugs or something and it's their fault that they're in the situation they're in. But the truth is, you have no idea what people are going through, and it's not fair to make assumptions. And I'm really saying all that to say that you need to be grateful for what you have now instead of only looking at what you don't have. I know it's easy to want things and want to only focus on the things that you want, but there are people who wish they had what you have now. So when you watch this video, I really want you to try and change your perspective on life, because anything can be taken away from you at any moment and there could be nothing you could do about it. Try to be grateful for the now. I know it's easy to sometimes get caught up in what you have may not feel like it's a lot, but if you have shelter constantly, if you're constantly able to put food on your fridge, if you have a job, even if you hate it, at least you have something. Because there are people out here who have nothing, like literally nothing, and they're struggling to live day to day while you're sitting up wishing you had something different and completely disregarding what you have now. I understand what it's like to be unhappy in your employment. However, try to remember, at least you have employment. There's people out here right now, there's people about to lose everything because they lost their job and they're not able to get another one for one reason or another. I've heard that it's really difficult to find a new job right now. So there's people who is on the verge of losing everything and you have stable employment. That's something to be grateful for, even if it's not your ideal thing. Like, I know personally, I don't have my ideal thing right now, but I'm employed. I'm able to pay my bills every month. I'm able to keep putting food in my fridge. I'm able to keep clothes on my back. Like, the list goes on and on. It seems like really small things, but those small things actually make a huge difference in your life. And I feel like more people just need to become more aware of that, because we take Like, listen, let's use social media for example. It's a privilege to be on social media right now. There's people on other sides of the world who don't even know what this is. Like, whatever platform you're watching this on, there's people who have no idea what this is because they have no concept of this type of technology. They don't have any idea what social media is. They've never owned a cell phone. Like, there's people out here who don't even have constant shelter. I mean, I know we're just talking about homeless people, but like, there's people in even worse off situations in different parts of the world. So just try to be mindful of that. Now, I'm not saying not to strive for more, because of course you should strive for more. If you're able to do more for yourself, if you're able to aim higher and get better, then of course do that. That's kind of like what my whole point of making videos is to encourage people to do better. Like, I know I'm trying to do better for myself as well, but what I'm saying is, from time to time, just stop and just take a deep breath, smell the flowers outside, whatever, breathe in this nice clean air we have in America, and realize that everything you have right now could be gone like that, and there could be nothing you could do about it. So just try to take time to be more grateful for the things you have and less unhappy about the things that you don't have. Because while the things that you want, I'm sure they're very nice, you don't have them. So there's no real point in constantly being upset about not having this thing, because truth be told, how do you miss something you've never had? What you have in front of you right now is yours. So just be grateful for that. Keep aiming for the stars, but also be grateful for what you have in the now.